Barry Gardiner was explaining Labour's shift in policy on Brexit, which will see the party fight to keep the UK in a customs union after Britain has cut ties with Brussels. The move would lessen Britain's chances of being able to strike post-Brexit trade deals with countries across the world such as New Zealand, Australia and the United States. Speaking on BBC Radio 4's Today programme, host Nick Robinson suggested Labour was asking for too much and the demands would be rejected by Brussels. He said, "Let me ask you another question then. You used an interesting phrase then about picking and choosing which rules we follow." Getty Sky News Brexit News. Nick Robinson ripped into Barry Gardiner over Labour's shift in position on Brexit. Is there a country that exists that has a different deal like this? Can you name a single EU leader of a country that backs a deal like this? As the Labour Party MP began to articulate his answer, the host quickly stepped in, adding, "The answer is no, isn't it?" Mr. Gardiner replied, "I would say Leo Varadkar would be very pleased to see the move that the Labour Party is making today. Keeping the UK in a customs union would mean there would be no border in Ireland. Amid concerns leaving the EU could lead to a hard border and place the Good Friday Agreement at risk." Robinson added Labour's latest position was unobtainable in negotiations with the EU. This sounds rather like what is referred to in Brussels as the cake-eating philosophy. Nick Robinson, he said, "There is no country that has got the deal on the customs union and the deal on the single market that Jeremy Corbyn is proposing. This sounds rather like what is referred to in Brussels as the cake-eating philosophy, coming up with an idea that you want and there is nobody else backing." Mr. Gardiner replied by claiming the move would be welcomed by countries such as Ireland. He said, "That is why I'm trying to point out to you, Nick, that actually here is a country that would be very keen to see a customs union that is of the nature that we are trying to set out. What I'm saying to you today, what we have been talking about, a customs union, what Jeremy will be setting out with great clarity in his speech. You asked me if there was anybody else who would agree with that. The comments come as the Labour leader is expected to set out in a speech today a softer position for the party on Brexit. Mr. Corbyn is expected in a major speech in Coventry to announce that he wants to keep the UK in a customs union with the EU after Brexit. In his Coventry speech, Mr. Corbyn is expected to say, "The European Union is not the root of all our problems and leaving it will not solve all our problems. Likewise, the EU is not the source of all enlightenment and leaving it does not inevitably spell doom for our country." Monday, February 5, 2018. Michel Barnier and David Davis head to Downing Street for lunch meeting. There will be some who will tell you that Brexit is a disaster for this country and some who will tell you that Brexit will create a land of milk and honey. The truth is more down to earth and it's in our hands. Brexit is what we make of it together. The Secretary of State for exiting the European Union, David Davis, said Labour's position would put two serious breaches of Labour's manifesto into play and put jobs at risk by surrendering one of the central prizes of Brexit. Labour may think they have stumbled across a simple solution to Brexit, but there is a lesson they are yet to learn. If it looks like snake oil, and it smells like snake oil, don't expect it to make you feel better, he wrote in The Telegraph.